Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Maverick Files on the Money Shift YouTube channel. Now, the reason why we're in the office today and not starting the video in the car is that for whatever reason, all the footage that I captured, the mic just wasn't working. But that's okay, because today we don't need the mic. We are talking about XLT 360 package. But before we do, we have a service announcement. 86.6% of you that watched the last video, you're not subscribed. And you know what? I get it. It's this small guy under 1,000 subs. Why should I pay this guy any attention? And hey, there's still time. Okay? There's still time for you to get on my good side. But anyway, all right. PSA aside, let's talk about why we're here. We're here today to talk about the Ford Co-Pilot 360 package that is available on the XL and XLT. And yes, I know that this is also available on the Lariat, but it differs when it gets to the Lariat. So we're going to be focusing on the Co-Pilot 360 as it pertains to the XL and XLT trim. So before we start driving, let's take a look at what this package includes. For $540, you really get three things. Number one, you get Bliss, which is their blind spot system with cross-traffic alert. Number two, you get a full-size spare. And number three, you get lane keep, which Ford defines as a lane keeping aid, lane keeping alert, and driver alert system. Now, something that is to note is that if you get this package on an XL, now you can get a manual sliding rear window, which is nice. The ventilation is key. Okay, let's hop in the vehicle and let's take a look around at what all these features look like, and then let's get on the road and see how they perform, and then we'll come right back to the office for some final thoughts. She is ready to go, and now we're going to hit the highway. So what are the three things that you get in the Co-Pilot 360 program for $540? Let's take a look. Number one is this lane keep system, which you activate on the left stalk right there. You see it appear in the center productivity screen. But the second thing, and what I think is probably the most important or most important part of this package, is the blind spot indicator. Although the Maverick has a good greenhouse, Ford does a great job at sort of outlining when something is in your blind spot. But the last thing, oddly enough, that is part of this package is a full-size spare. Yes, part of that $540 for the Co-Pilot 360 package includes a full-size spare. Bit of an interesting feature. As we make our way to the front, we see the main tool that helps a lot of these systems work. That is right up there. If you have a Lariat and you opt for this package, you'll notice that in your grille there is a little square piece, and that helps do the more advanced features that are a part of the Co-Pilot 360 program in the Lariat. But with all of that said, let's teleport to the highway and see how all of these features work in real time. As we teleport onto the highway, the two main things that we're going to focus on in the Ford Co-Pilot 360 package is the blind spot alert with cross traffic, as well as the lane keeping system, which Ford describes is a lane keeping aid, lane keeping alert, and driver alert system. So the first thing that you're going to notice right as we get on the highway is the blink of the blind spot. That happens when a car is in your blind spot. The Maverick notices it and you turn your blinker on. You'll know the lane keep system is active when there is a green vehicle in the top left. Okay, now as the traffic dies down a little bit, we're going to get into how these systems actually work in practice. Now, this lane keep system, there's a little cross traffic there. We did notice that, and we slowed down, but apparently the Maverick thought that we weren't slowing down enough. So it said collision alert, showed red. That one actually does give a sound. But okay, let's focus again on this lane keeping system. So it illuminates green here, and we're going to emulate a BMW driver. We're going to switch lanes without any signal. And you'll notice that the screen just goes red on the lane that you are entering. So it effectively says, hey, you're going over the lines on your pause. Big shout out to Mark Jacobs and JRP82681. They pointed out something that I did not realize till after we launched the video, which is 100% my bad. The driver's assistance settings for the Co-Pilot 360 package is located in the productivity screen in the instrument cluster. The settings you are about to see, the video you are currently watching, it includes the alert system being on, but the aid system being off. That is why the vehicle does not steer. Later on in the video, I change the settings and we talk about how the vehicle reacts with the aid on. So shout out to Mark Jacobs and JRP8261 for making me realize that that was the case and pulling the video in time so that we could include it early on. Thank you guys. The steering wheel shakes a little bit, but that is the extent of input that the Maverick is telling you that you are stepping out of the lane. So we're going to try it one more time, and notice that with the aid off, the car doesn't actively steer to keep you in lane, and that is very annoying, but it makes sense because, again, the aid is off. So the car alerts you by shaking the steering wheel, but in terms of aiding you, it doesn't. So, okay, that makes sense. Later on in the video, we're going to enable the aid, and you'll see actively how the activity of the Maverick changes. But let's finish off with a quick summary of how the Maverick does with the aid off, the alert on. So, it vibrates the steering wheel, and it warns you on the screen that you are exiting the lane. That is the extent of the service. But the blind spot indicators do not change regardless of the mode. They blink, they flash when they're supposed to, but they are never audible. And that is something that is very important to note when discussing this system. Now, as this Odyssey pulls up to our left, we will see one last time how this blind spot system works. As a car approaches your blind spot, an orange light illuminates in the left side of the mirror. If you turn on a blinker while that light is on, it blinks. That is your warning that there is a car approaching you. But okay, let's turn that driving aid on and see how it does. All right, as we're in this productivity screen and we're making the changes, we select driver assistance, we select lane keep system, and then we see here two things, mode and intensity. We can change the intensity from high, normal, medium. Let's keep it at normal for now. And then the alert, that's the key. This is where you have to turn on the aid. So you can either make it aid only, which means the car will steer itself, or you can do both. For the purpose of this, let's do both. Okay, as we teleport again to an on-ramp, let's actually see how the aid system works. Now, this is very important, and it's a little absurd, the fact that the only place to adjust the driver assistance settings on the Ford Maverick with the Co-Pilot360 package is in the instrument cluster. But again, shout out to our amazing viewers for really pointing that out and making it known before this video really had a lot of runtime. So thank you guys for that. Truly, 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 truly appreciate it. But as we get up to speed here, as a reminder to engage this feature, you have to click the left stalk. There is a button of it, you turn it on. Once you turn it on, you see in the dash that there is a green light illuminated as follows. Once that light is on, it is on and working. I'm going to let the steering wheel go. As we venture into the off lane, the emergency lane, the Maverick does actively steer itself back. One of the things you need to understand with all of these systems, this is not Ford's Blue Cruise. This is not GM Super Cruise. This car cannot operate on its own for extended periods of time. In fact, the Maverick makes a good job at alerting you when you have taken your hands off the wheel for an extended period of time, because this is not a autopilot system. This is merely a safety tool in order to keep you within the lane. All right? Is that clear? One more time, this is a safety tool. This is not an autopilot. This is not Ford's Blue Cruise, but I would say it does an effective job at keeping you within the lane. It does ping pong you if you have your hands off the wheel, but again, that's because this isn't a true autopilot-like system. For the safety reason, for what this vehicle is attempting to do, which is to keep you in the lane on extended drives, it does a very good job. So shout out to Mark again and JRP. My opinion on this system has entirely changed. The driver assistance package does do a good job at keeping you from exiting your lane in unsafe situations. And if we change the assistance here and the intensity to high, what I notice is that it just reacts sooner. Normal reacts fine. Low reacts very late. Intensity high means it reacts very, very quickly. The moment the truck is about to touch a lane, it immediately turns it back and centers it, but it doesn't fully center it. The Lariat does have that option. The XLT will just ping pong you in the left and in the right, in the left and in the right, because again, this is a safety system, not an autopilot system. So overall, when the aid is on, the Maverick does an incredible job at making sure you stay within the lane. But one last time, I know I've repeated this about 100 times, but this is very important with systems like these. When you are driving a Ford Maverick, it doesn't matter what level of Maverick you have, with what level of Co-Pilot 360 you have, whether it's a Lariat XL or XLT. It is not intended for self-driving. There is no frontward facing camera. It is not leveraging LiDAR or any other sensors. And because of that, it is mainly a safety tool. But let's get to the final thoughts. All right, so what are our final thoughts on the Ford Co-Pilot 360 package for the XL and XLT? Well, in a word, worth it, but you need to make your own decisions. What the package provides are two key things. Number one, blind spot safety systems, which work remarkably well. Although there is no audible chime, the light is enough for me in order to understand what is next to me. And number two, the lane driving aid. Now remember, this is something that you have to turn on by the productivity screen in the instrument cluster. But once you do, it does a relatively good job of keeping you within the lane. Again, and I'm going to say this, and I know this is like the 5th time I've said it, but this is not an autopilot system. The Ford Maverick is not designed to drive itself down the highway. So again, for me, I think both of these systems are great, and the fact that you get a spare tire included is nice. So previously, I did not think this was worth the full $540. Now, after leveraging it with the system actually on, I think it could justify its overall price. But the decision is up to you. If you guys enjoyed this video, do not forget to hit that subscribe button, and appreciate everybody for tuning in. I am Thanasi. This is the Maverick Files. See you next time.